Hi all, it's Cryptic here, and today we've got some really interesting news in regards to Microsoft and the next generation consoles, the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. They've leaked in the last couple hours, essentially showing a release date and price for both consoles. Surprisingly, it hasn't exactly come from Microsoft themselves, but it's more or less confirmed, with multiple sources confirming the details and images and prices and the dates just pretty much leaking and spreading everywhere on the internet like wildfire. So let's get into it. So earlier today, it was leaked through Brad Sams on Thurrott, and Windows Central were pretty much the first to come out with the information. Probably you can see it on screen now. The Xbox Series S is officially confirmed, 99.999% confirmed. And it looks almost identical to the Xbox Series X, except it is about half as thick, so slimmer, sporting the white, which is the theme for the S series consoles of Xbox, going with the Xbox One S, following in the footsteps of that, and now the Xbox Series S having the white overall look. Looking at the renders, the image, the little mini trailer of it being displayed next to the Xbox Series X itself, showing just how small the unit is. It's very similar to the Xbox One X in size, I believe, with that thinner rectangular shape and large fan grill there, which has come up with its own memes, which we'll go through later. But the main talking points of the Xbox Series S is that it is $299 US, so that's $299 US dollars, which is insanely cheap for something that's rated at 4 teraflops, where the Xbox Series X is meant to be at 12 teraflops. The Xbox Series S, which you have to keep in mind, is not targeted for those who want to do 4K gaming on your TV at all. It's most likely geared to 1440p, where I believe it's confirmed with the hardware specifications, which I'll throw up on the screen for you guys to have a look at. It is 1440p 60 frames per second for the Xbox Series S at $299 without a disk drive. So it's almost like the Xbox One S, or the Xbox One Sat Edition or Digital Edition, which was download only and potential streaming where possible, where we know with Microsoft's or Xbox Game Pass, you pretty much do your monthly subscription and download the games that you want, play them, finish them, keep them on there if you maintain the subscription, or uninstall them to make hard drive space. But it should more or less have the same features as the Xbox Series X, but without the disk drive. Also, it should also support Microsoft's proprietary SSD memory card expansions. So if the internal storage it gets full, you guys can go to your local electronics store, game store, whether it be EB Games, GameStop, etc., etc. Pick one up, put it in potentially through the back of the unit where the slots will be located, and expand your storage. But yeah, quite interesting. It's an interesting design. It does fall in a bit with the Xbox philosophy and design philosophy, with the shape of the box, the colors. The main talking point is the black grill. It's a bit weird. It sticks out like a sore thumb. It's already starting memes on the internet calling it a boombox, a stovetop, or a cooktop, just with that black fan grill. But again, we know that's there to keep the unit cool. It is still more powerful than the Xbox One X, which is now discontinued. So yeah, I mean, it looks fine. It'll be a lot easier to fit in most entertainment units in the homes, with it being smaller and slimmer than the Xbox Series X and even the PlayStation 5, which is known to be taller than the Xbox Series X, but clearly not as thick. But you know, they're still pretty large and hefty consoles. With that, also the Xbox Series X price has also been announced at $499 US. So if that is true, that seems to be in line of when Sony announced the PlayStation 3 price, and at the time that was ridiculously expensive. Now it's a little bit expensive, but if you're looking at the capabilities of the box, what it can do, what it's designed to do, and who it's targeted at, it's essentially, getting you an affordable PC-like system in your home to play all the latest and greatest games, third-party and Microsoft exclusive games, which it'll be fantastic for. So $4.99 for the Xbox Series X, and also a release date. Now, we knew that Xbox was saying that it wanted to launch the Xbox Series X and S, now confirmed, and it was probably the worst kept secret ever, but in November. That's now been given an official date on November 10th. Whether that's global, no idea. Whether that's North America first, not sure. But let's just assume here it is global, that it launches more or less day and date in as many territories and countries as possible. November 10th, which is good. It would be great now if Microsoft can pretty much confirm that these leaks are true, whether it was leaked internally from them or not, but they seem, like I said, 99.99% accurate to what they will be when you can go into your local game store and pre-order either machine at those prices and those specifications and those designs. And because November 10th is barely even 2 months away, but like 2 months, 2 days, 2 months and a day, depending where you are in the world right now. It is not a very long time. I know with the current situation in the world that they might have supply constraints, logistic constraints to getting enough units out to the stores for people to pre-order. We know that Sony is doing strictly one per person or one per household sort of unit, and limiting people from mass ordering a crap ton and limiting how many make it onto the secondary market on eBay or Amazon or wherever it may be, where sellers can post their stuff and just sell them for ridiculous prices because they're sold out everywhere in through the standard supply chains, through the game stores. Hopefully Microsoft does something similar like this, because I think that'll be really good to make sure that the people who want to get them to use them and appreciate them and play their favorite titles on them get to do that. Because the last thing we need is what happened with the PS4 and the before that PS3 and 360, and people wanting to get their hands on them, and then inevitably they just went onto eBay because people just bought a crap ton of them and just doubled the prices or even tripled the prices, because they knew how desperate people would be in order to get their hands on one and have one to play. So it's quite interesting. They've got financing terms of the Xbox Series S and X, but I think those will be potentially limited to North America or the States. Not sure if they ever did that with the Xbox One and One X. Anywhere else, I know in Aussie land here, we never got anything like that. I mean, you could put things on lay-by, which is like layaway, and sort of pay it off and then go, or do your afterpay and get it that way. But these models don't usually come in, but they potentially could be bundled in with Game Pass bundles with the console to get people online and downloading games. And it seems like Sony and Microsoft here are sort of leaning away from the dependency on the retailers to sell physical games, both releasing diskless versions. Main difference is here that Microsoft has actually is releasing a significantly less powered console that is still very capable at 1440p. And if you've done any form of PC gaming, 1440p 60 frames per second plus is still very much the absolute sweet spot and the dream. 4K still comes with a lot of complexities and heartache and issues, whether it be games rendering, animating at the correct frames, etc. Whether it's you have 2080 Ti and you still can barely crack 40 frames per second, depending on how graphically demanding a game is or technically demanding it is. So it seems like that even with the current new Nvidia cards being announced, I don't think they'll steal too much thunder from the next gen consoles, because the audience that were interested in getting the consoles were never interested in getting a PC, and these are right up their alley, and they'll have these for the next 5+ years and happily use them, and it will cost a fraction of the price. I mean, $299 US is a bloody bargain. It is dirt cheap, considering what you're getting, and compared to the PlayStation 4 Pro and the now discontinued Xbox One X, it's essentially double the graphical power of them, and pretty much at a cheaper price point off the starting line. So that's hugely amazing. Now it's sort of to get the official okay from Microsoft saying, "Yep, that's officially it. That's when it is. Let's open pre-orders. Let's get people, the chance to actually get one of these damn things and stop playing coy with everyone." Because I think myself and all you included would be fed up with the waiting game and just want to officially, go to GameStop or go to EB Games or JB Hi-Fi here in Australia and just place your pre-order and just get that 100% confirmation that is the actual price, and see what games are going to be bundled with it, what other accessories might be bundled, whether they're going to have any bundles at all, whether it'll just be the console on its own and you buy additional games with it, who knows. But it would be good to know. Sony, I don't know what they're going to do. They're probably hoping or wanted this to begin with because they were playing, tag the whole time, trying to see who was going to announce the price first, whether it be Sony first or Microsoft first. And it seems like Microsoft intentionally or unintentionally leaked the price and release date. So now the ball is in Sony's court to finally put a price on the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 discless version, whatever that's going to be called. I would say potentially the full PlayStation 5 could be the exact same price as the Xbox Series X at $499 US. I don't think at the moment that the discless version will be cheaper than the Xbox Series S, only because there's no actual hardware decrease or potential decrease on the console. It's still the exact same GPU, CPU, RAM, clock speeds, all that, except it doesn't have that 4K Blu-ray drive. So that could be anywhere from $50 to $100. I don't see it being cheaper than $399. But if it's anything like the PlayStation 4, this could be the signal where Sony's like, let's quickly crunch the numbers. Can we undercut Microsoft and sell it at a loss but make a crap ton of money back on the software and the PlayStation Plus subscriptions, and the PS Now subscription for streaming, etc., and just make our money back in like 24 months on the losses we take on the hardware. That could potentially be it. They could do the whole $399, $299, but I see it very slim because they're not making a lower powered console. Again, with that, I don't know how this will affect developers having to essentially develop for the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 that have very similar hardware. Again, I don't think you'll notice any differences between those two consoles. But then also having the Xbox Series S, is it going to be like the original Xbox One or Xbox One S, where it was severely underpowered and resolution was an issue, and optimizing the games to get them run stable and smooth? Because it doesn't really matter if it's not hitting 4K, as long as it's hitting a smooth and stable frame rate, which seems to be what most console gamers or most gamers want. If it's 30 frames, it's got to be a solid 30 frames. They don't want hitching. Same if it's 60 or anything else, or an open frame rate. They just want a stable frame rate, because on TVs, if you get that hitching, it's super noticeable. I'd say way more than on a PC. Again, with a PC, it's a lot more customizable with VSync and G-Sync and FreeSync as well, which is a proprietary for AMD and Nvidia, and VSync, which has been around for ages, to stop tearing and jittering as best as possible. But on a big, 50+ inch for flat screen TV, it is super noticeable, and it can affect you to become motion sick playing games that way. So hopefully that's not the case, that the games coming out are very scalable, and being able to render them out at 1440p will essentially just mean they can make one version of the game more or less for the consoles and just scale it down to 1440p, sort of like PC gaming, where you just pick the native resolution of your monitor and then it just runs at that, and the lower the resolution, the less taxing it is on the hardware. So hopefully it does work out that way for this generation. But with that said, guys, I don't want to run this video too long and just ramble on with too much nonsense. Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X coming out November 10th, 2020. The Series S at $299 and the Series X at $499 US. I'd say in the next coming days, let's just wait and watch to what Microsoft says further, and then shortly after, I think it's more or less Sony's turn to say something, because if they hold out any longer, I think it's going to hurt them dearly. So with that, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up. If you disliked the video, feel free to hit the thumbs down and leave a constructive comment in the comment section below. Links to the articles, leaked videos, the Twitter video showing the comparison of the console to the S and the X together, all linked below, so you can go to the original articles to where they leaked earlier today. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.